Well, hey, Dream Team. After hearing so much great feedback through our fast tracks and our week to week meetings, I'm hearing more and more people ask, how do I share this? How do I start a conversation? And then how do I actually close? So I sat down and I really thought about it, and everything that I do is to make things simple because if it's complicated, it's hard to adapt. It's hard to actually execute and use ourselves, and it's hard to adopt. So I want to make something super easy, so simple that you're almost like, Andrew, this sounds too simple to actually use. That's where I want to get everything to in our dream team. So it just becomes easy. So I want to speak to you today about the X39 model, X39 flight plan model, the flight plan model, using a plane as an analogy, as a model. A plane takes off. Actually, the most dangerous parts of flight, from one of my friends who was an A380 Emirates pilot, now trains people. He's one of the best pilots in the world, is taking off and landing. The bit in the middle, the mid-flight, is actually the safest part of the flight. I never knew that. Now, of course, when it comes to sales, each part is really important. One's not dangerous. They're all just super important to the process of engaging a customer, engaging someone curious, to then landing the sale. So it's a 3-step process that I've come up with, called it the X39 flight plan model: takeoff, cruise, and landing. Takeoff, and then mid-flight, cruising, and then landing. So in your mind, you could see this as a 3-step process. Every time you speak to someone, when you first meet them, you can be thinking in your mind, hey, I need to take the plane off. I need the plane to take off. I'm in step 1 right now. Then as you get to a certain point in the conversation, you might get to step 2, hopefully, talking all through about the product and benefits and so on, which we're about to talk about, and then landing the plane so that you're landing the sale. So this is what I want to go through today. X39 flight plan model, takeoff, cruise, and landing, the X39 pitch model. So takeoff is all about engaging curiosity and building connection. That's what we're going to be speaking about. Then cruising altitude. It's the cruise part of the conversation. Sharing the product, the story, and science. Sharing the product, your story, other people's stories, the product stories, and the science. And then landing the plane, handling objections, and closing the invitation that you make to someone to see if they want to become a brand partner, want to start patching. So it's takeoff, cruise, and landing. 3-step model that you can be thinking about every time you engage someone, whether it be in person, whether it be online, through social media, through a phone call, whichever way that you will be using. And I encourage you to use all of them to be able to land that sale and to create brand partners in your team. So what's the first part? The overview of the flight plan model. The X39 pitch follows a powerful 3-step conversation model. Again, something that I just came up with recently. 1 is takeoff. Engage curiosity, build connection, and patch them if possible. So using the pro strategy as part of the This Is It team, the pro strategy is patch, it's revisit, which is follow up, and then O for the opportunity of the presentation. So takeoff is engaging curiosity, building connection, and patch them if you're one-to-one with somebody, patching them so you're breaking the ice and getting it on their body. Second is cruise. Share the product story, the science, and then if they're super curious about it, wanting to know more, give them the thisisitinfo.com website so they can go and deep dive. Now that might be in that moment, and then you go to step 3, or that's what you leave them with, and especially if you're on the phone or so on, hey, go back and have a look at that. Then I'll come back to you, or you reach out to me. And of course, you'll always reach out back to them. But if you want to know more and take the next step, then landing the sale, handling objections, sharing an opportunity, presentation, and closing with confidence. So that's where you would say, hey, as we're about to share, where are you, 1 to 10? How excited are you about this opportunity? And what's your next step? You'd be asking them that question. Hey, I've just sent you a opportunity presentation. Have you had the chance to listen to that? Or you'll say, would you join me tonight on Tuesday night or one of the other presentations that we have around Australia and the world, and join a presentation so that we can watch it together and then we can discuss it afterwards. So 3 steps: the takeoff, the cruise, and the landing, and closing with confidence. This is what we want to help you with, to close with confidence. So step 1, takeoff. It's engaging curiosity. The goal is to create interest, emotional connection, and intrigue. You want them to be curious about this. Hey, have you heard about this stem cell technology? Do you have aches and pains that you want to get rid of? Would you like to heal and repair like you did when you were younger, like when you were 25? Questions like that. Engaging people with curiosity, not vomiting on them about all the details and all of the technology and all the science and all the stories. You're asking questions. So your mindset must be, you're building the runway for takeoff. Use curiosity, questions, and your own story to lift the interest off the ground of what you're doing. That's what step 1 is. Step 1 is takeoff. Here's some sample questions and statements. If your body could heal itself like it did when you were younger, would you want that back? I stumbled across something that's changing wellness, non-invasive, drug-free, and science-backed. Here's some of the questions that you'll be reaching out with this takeoff step. Stem cells are the body's repair system. What if I told you there's a way to activate them naturally? These types of questions to help engage and to take liftoff, to get liftoff in engaging with curiosity. So once you've got liftoff and you're like, he's interested, he's engaging with me about these questions, he wants to know more, well, you go to step 2, which is the cruising altitude. Remember, we're using a plane liftoff model. So we take off, setting out the runway to take off. You've taken off now. You've got this person engaged. What's next? It's the cruising altitude. It's sharing about the product. So firstly, it's asking lots of questions. And here's the thing. If people don't lean in, then lean out. Don't try to push something that someone's not interested in. This will release you so much and give you even more confidence if you learn to go, if they're leaning in, I lean in. If they lean out, I lean out. And you walk away and you go to the next one. Honestly, it reduces so much of that emotional energy, that negative emotional energy that can live stored up in our minds when we understand lean in when they lean in, lean out when they lean out. So here's where we share the product. The goal is to educate briefly, build belief, and validate the product. Mindset here is about mid-air is smooth. If you've ever flown before, as I'm sure you have, you want it to be smooth sailing. You don't want turbulence. You don't want this to be rocky. You want it calm and confident. You need to be calm and confident. This is where belief builds and where people lean in. If you're all nervous and if you're like vomiting information, people are going to lean out. But when you're cool, calm, and collected, when you go in with the mindset, if they want this, great. If they don't, that's fine as well. My security's not connected to if they say yes or no. You stay calm and confident. They will more likely than not, they will lean in. This is step 2, cruising altitude, sharing about the product. So here's where we share about the product and the science. This is the X39 patch, developed after 10 years of research and over 90 clinical studies. This is where we start to share about some of the science. Then we talk about it uses light therapy to activate a peptide called KCU, proven to reset your stem cells. So we're starting to add in some of the science about the product. Then we talk about no drugs and no injections. I mean, this is one of the major parts of why this product is so powerful and amazing. Just your body doing what it was created to do, to repair and to regenerate. So this is where we start sharing about the product and the science. You see, we talk about what people are experiencing when we're cruising in altitude, when we're having a great conversation. Remember, these are conversations. You're not selling, you're sharing. You talk about pain relief, increased energy, improved sleep, mental clarity, skin and wound healing, overall life-changing results. So here's where you talk about stories. You drop in a story or two. You obviously have already asked them what their pain points are. So you try in your mind to think about maybe some people that have had some breakthroughs in that area themselves. And if not, you just talk about other breakthroughs that have been happening. Use your story or share somebody else's to build belief. Then we've taken off. We're midair, we're cruising along, we're confident, we're calm, and now we want to land the plane. So, closing the invitation. And remember, this is just an invitation. This is all that it is. The goal here is to invite to try or buy. Address hesitation with calm certainty. Your mindset is to land with confidence, not pressure. Help them make an empowered decision. So here's where you start letting them know about the different options after you've asked them how curious they are about taking the next step. So then you start leading them with confidence on what's going to be the best option for them. So the minimum is 3 months because most people need 3 months to see a result. Now, a lot of people get a result within the first 30 days. But we only work with people for those 3 months because we want them to give them the best opportunity to get a result and also be long-term customers to see that this works and is effective. So what to say? We use scripts like on a scale of 1 to 10, how curious are you about taking the next step? That's a really good script to use. And remember, we have more scripts on our boards app that you can connect through dreamteam.community. This whole video, if it's not already, will be on dreamteam.community soon. You can ask a question. Try it for 90 days. Most feel something within the first few days, or many feel something within the first few days. The company gives a money back guarantee, so there's no risk to get started. Remember, there's no risk when it comes to nothing going past the past the skin barrier, so there's no health risk. Now there's no financial risk. If they change their mind, they can hand it back. Would you prefer a 3-month or a 6-month supply to start? So if they're just patching for one and it's just about their health, then you might realize, hey, a core is probably the best place for them to get started. They can always upgrade. If it's 2 of them, well, then absolutely advanced is the best one to get started. And if they're really excited about the opportunity or they have a massive family, then the premium pack is what's going to be great for them. So here's some bonus tips for success. Always ask a curious opening question. So when you start, always ask a curious opening question. Carry a patch to show or let them hold it. Because if you can get that patch on them, it'll break the barrier, the mental barrier of what this is and what it does. And then if they do get a result within 24 hours, you've already got a fan. Have a 30-second testimony ready, yours or someone else's. Hey, what this has done for me with having sleep apnea for 18 months, and within 3 months of patching, I was off my sleep apnea machine and I'm sleeping the best I ever have. So that's one of my testimonies that I have. But I would use someone else's, and I did when I first started patching before I got my testimonies around what this is doing in people's lives. Then use feel, felt, or found for objections. I feel what you're saying. I understand. I felt like that before, but I've found this has changed my life. So you can help with objections with feel, felt, or found. And then let them know you're here whenever they're ready and follow up gently. So you're not pushing, you're not forcing. If they're leaning out, remember, you lean out. If they're leaning in, remember, you lean in. So here's some tips for success. So here's the recap of the X39 flight plan model. It's just called the flight plan model, or the X39 pitch model. Take off, cruise, and land. Some of you are great with taking off, not so great at the cruising part, because then you just verbal diarrhea and vomit all over them with information. And some of you are not so great at the land. Other people, they're not so great at the getting started part. They've struggled with some of the curiosity questions and leaning in, even meeting people for the first time. They're good with the middle and they're great at landing, but it's the taking off that's a challenge. This is where you can hone in and spend more time on working on the area that you need to grow in. And the best way to do that is literally practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the better you become. So that is the X39 flight plan model, takeoff, cruise, and landing. So every time that you decide, when you reach out to someone on the phone or you meet someone in person, you've had an opportunity, you've bumped into someone at the cafe, you never met them before, you can think, hey, 3 steps. Okay, I got to get this plane off into the air. Hey, how are you? Have you ever been curious about stem cells before? Would you like to repair and restore like you used to when you were 25 years old? Are you looking for another business opportunity? One of the most lucrative and fastest growing in the world at the moment. Curiosity questions. Then you share the science and stories, how it's changed your life, what are some of the studies that are being science backed, and where they can go to find that. And then, hey, I'm curious to ask, between 1 and 10, how ready are you for your next step to start patching? And then showing them the 3 different options, getting them signed up, and getting them going. That is the 3-step flight plan model. I hope it helps you. It could be something really simple to think about each time you're in a conversation or starting a conversation. And I'd love to hear your feedback because I want to help you as much as possible to be able to help others and to win in your own personal life. Because we're the dream team. We're believing for people to reach dreams greater than they ever have before.